Hello, my name is Wes Mills, and I'll be your instructor for the Legacy of ACOP course. My family has a 5-generation legacy with the Apostolic Church of Pentecost. My grandfather got saved in the 1920s at the Regina Apostolic Church. My father was born and raised in the Apostolic Church of Pentecost, as was I, and I now have a son and I have grandchildren who are also being raised in the Apostolic Church of Pentecost of Canada. So we have a 5-generation legacy. We are so grateful for all that God has done through ACOP and the impact that it's had on our family. My grandfather came into the Regina Apostolic Church as a young soldier just back from the First World War. We had no idea, he had no idea that it would change the trajectory of his family for 5 generations. And so we are grateful and thankful for how God has worked through the ACOP fellowship. I've been a credential holder with the Apostolic Church of Pentecost for more than 40 years. I served as an ACOP pastor from 1981 until 1997. And then for the next 7 years, I served as the Director of Administration and Finance, working in the ACOP office and having an opportunity to work with pastors and churches across Canada in that capacity. And then in 2004, I was elected President of the Apostolic Church of Pentecost of Canada. All this to say that I've had a front row seat to most of what's happened in ACOP these past 25 years. And so much of what I'm sharing with you today comes from firsthand knowledge and experiences that I had. Although the history of ACOP spans 100 years, I've lived through the last 25 years, as I said, with the front row seat. And so I hope that I'll be able to share with you some insights that would be meaningful and helpful with you as you come to understand the legacy of ACOP. Carl Trueman, in his book, The Rise and Triumph of the Modern Self, asks this question: is the statement, "The Twin Towers fell on 9/11 because of gravity," is that statement true or false? Well, the correct answer is yes, it is true that the reason that the buildings fell down was because of gravity. And while that statement is technically true, it explains nothing of any significance about the tragic events that occurred on that day. Nor does it adequately address factors such as American foreign policy or the rise of militant Islam or other factors that provide historic context for that moment in time. Understanding the historic context of an event such as 9/11 gives us greater insight into why these events transpired and what significance they might have for us. Through the legacy of ACOP, I want to share with you the historic and theological climate that gave rise to the Apostolic Church of Pentecost. It's as we examine the development of ACOP from a local church revival in Winnipeg, Manitoba, to a movement of 1,400 churches around the world. It is my hope that this course will inform you of the rich spiritual legacy that we have received through the Apostolic Church of Pentecost of Canada. I want to just review the learning outcomes with you for our course. First of all, cognitively, you will know the ACOP story. The second part of our cognitive desire is that you'll be introduced to the key players that share in the ACOP story. And thirdly, you'll be able to evaluate ideas, issues, and theology that influence the development of ACOP. The second learning outcome is affectively. You'll be moved by the passion of the founders to take the gospel to every nation. You'll appreciate the conviction of those who shaped the philosophy and the belief system of ACOP. And you'll be challenged by the faith and the sacrifice that ACOP pioneers made to advance the mission of the gospel. And finally, cognitively, you'll be able to live into the ACOP story as you write new chapters in the ongoing story of the Apostolic Church of Pentecost. You'll be able to reference source material of the ACOP story, and you'll be able to engage in an informed discussion with others about the inception and the development of ACOP. I'm looking forward to sharing the story of ACOP with you, and I trust that you will come to appreciate the legacy that ACOP represents. So until next time, this is Wes Mills.